In the previous video, we talked about how a counselee comes into the counseling room asking 3 basic questions. Do you love me? Can you help me? And can I trust you? And if the counselee were to answer no to any one of these questions, that would disqualify us from being their counselor, because that means that we have failed in our attempts to establish a helping relationship with that person. And so, we want to make sure that we are doing everything that we can to establish a caring relationship so that the counselee will allow us the privilege of helping them by entrusting us with some of the most sensitive and personal matters of their lives. And we see this model for us in our great Savior, who is identified in Isaiah 9 as the wonderful counselor. And as the wonderful counselor, he first entered into our world so that he could come into personal contact with the people that he loves and desires to minister to. The second thing he did was that he understood people's needs. Throughout his ministry, as he traveled from town to town, he was able to identify problems that people faced as he listened and asked questions and interacted with sinners, and thus was able to biblically understand the problems that people face. And third, he brought biblical truth that addressed the struggles of life. He brought hope to those who needed encouragement, and he brought exhortation to those who needed conviction. Thus, Jesus gives us a great example of what it looks like to establish and develop the type of caring, helpful relationships that we are to build with our counselees. And when it comes to the terms that you are to define, you will find that there are no specific terms listed for you in the study guide that you need to explain. But as you answer this question, you're going to talk about and thus biblically described issues like compassion and humility, gentleness, and hope. Because again, these are qualities that are exemplified by Christ. When it comes to Bible verses to reference, here are some good suggestions. Romans chapter 12, verses 9 through 16 is a great place to start because it gives you an understanding of biblical strategies for how to establish good relationships. Colossians chapter 3, verses 12 through 14 is also a good place to go because that gives you a good list of character qualities that we should have as counselors because they are the same type of character qualities that are true of Christ. And James chapter 2, verses 15 through 16 is a good passage that exhorts us to be counselors who are helpful because James writes this. He says, if a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, and one of you says to him, go in peace, be warmed and filled, without giving him the things needed for the body, what good is that? So, we want to be helpful as we care well for our counselees. When it comes to answering this question, a good outline would include these elements. First, why is establishing a caring relationship so important? Paul Tripp talks about this in his book, Instruments in the Redeemer's Hands, as gaining passport into their lives. And just like a physical passport gives you access into a foreign country, you want your counselee to allow you into their lives so that you can bring the biblical help that they need. Second, you will need to describe and biblically support at least 6 biblical strategies for how you would establish a caring relationship. Those strategies include things like showing respect, giving hope, and expressing compassion, among many other elements. In the study guide, there are some good resources that are recommended for you to use. One of them is John MacArthur's book on counseling, which has a chapter specifically on how to build helping relationships that will be a great aid to you in answering this question. Also, in the book, The Gospel for Disordered Lives, there's a chapter on this topic as well that will help you know how to establish these types of caring relationships with your counselees. And I highly recommend that you use those